also going to be taking any kind of questions at the end of our presentation. And because it's recorded, if you would like a copy of it or would just like to review it and pass it around to colleagues and whatnot, I'll be more than happy to do that. So you can just email me at the email address that I share with you at the end of the presentation. So just to start right off here, our presentation today will only last probably about 35 minutes. That's my goal, and that includes Q&A. So let's just dive right in. So today's presentation is on our CaptureCast Pro appliance. It is a multi-perspective recording appliance that we continually enhance and optimize with features, making this the most preferred solution for lecture halls, live events, live streaming, and whatnot. So this is actually a picture that you see here of our CaptureCast Pro. You can see that it's got a rack mount faceplate. It's got a USB import at the front for downloading recordings. It's very nice and sleek looking, and it is 3U rack mountable, but I'll be going over those features later on in the presentation. So for today's agenda, I'm just going to be going over the unique selling points of CaptureCast Pro, what sets us apart from other hardware appliances out there, and giving just a general product overview. I'll then actually get into our interface of one of our demo units and show you the workflow and all of the different features that you would have as the person controlling the unit. I'll also be going over our product roadmap of things in the next 6 months that we foresee being built into the unit, as well as answering any questions that come up during the session. So just to kind of give you an overview of what actually drives Katura Video as a company, and it's kind of a threefold mission. So we have an open philosophy, we highlight automation, and we also value customers, and so we've built in features that enable customers to not only maintain their unit, but just adding to the return of investment that you put into the unit. So with the open philosophy, you'll see from the different publishers that we work with to the way that we build our unit with the features, we're very open in our thinking and know that that's actually the way that video is going and is going to continue to go with any kind of AV tech actually. So we're non-proprietary, non-embedded. We work well with many companies out there. Secondly, the automation. So from publishing to scheduling, we've built in features that are stable and that you can rely on, that your recordings are going to go where they're supposed to go, that it's going to record when it's supposed to record. So really just highlighting the automation so that you don't have to have a dedicated person, for each recording session or each unit rather. And then lastly, customer enablement. So we, value our customers. We value return customers. We aren't just trying to get you to sign a contract or make a purchase. We want you to be happy with your purchase. So we've got features built within the unit as well as a dedicated staff for both of our North American customers, European customers, any international customers that are available for assisting you with any needs. So again, you see here a picture of our hardware unit, and it has just the specs and the measurements of that, just to give you kind of an idea. As I said before, it's a 3U rack mountable system, but just to reiterate what I had said momentarily ago was that we're non-proprietary, non-embedded, and we're a fully open appliance. So what that really means is all the components that you see within our units are standard off-the-shelf components, all of which you can actually buy through, if you have a reseller or a really great source that you buy AV parts or any kind of IT parts, you could certainly get it from there, Amazon. So this really adds to the longer shelf life of your unit. So let's say 5 years down the road, if the RAM goes out, it can be purchased through us, or you can purchase it on your own. And we've got wonderful tutorials that actually show you how you can open your appliance. So a lot of companies out there don't allow you to do that. You have to buy a warranty through them. We do have warranties, so if you decide that's not something that you really wanting to maintain on your own, we can help you with that. But otherwise, you can open the unit. Once you buy it, it's yours, and we can certainly assist you with any kind of maintenance. It is built on a Linux-based operating system, so it's robust, it's stable, and this is ideal for mission-critical recordings where failure is not an option. We build your units to spec, so based upon your current AV needs in a particular room, we basically build out your unit based on that. So we would just get from you the different devices you'd be recording from, and it's all customized for you. We do have RAID and SSD configurations available for, mobile cart situations that the unit might be on. And we do support the various inputs that you see here, either natively or with an included converter. So we currently can encode and stream up to 6 separate video sources. These would be all separately encoded files, with the option of having a 7th encoded file of the main mixed media file. You'll see the power behind that momentarily whenever I show you just some of the features that we built in with certain publishing platforms. And it is a live encode, so there's no post-transcoding that you have to wait on us. Once you click stop, it's basically ready to publish. Really, it's, a recorded session that's, let's say, an hour long could take maybe 5 to 10 minutes to upload. Or less, depending on your network. They are MP4 recordings, so we play very well with others, and these can be ingested by almost every single platform out there as far as hosting. So you can schedule back-to-back recordings for mission-critical environments. So if this is in a lecture hall that has classes throughout the day, for example, if you just have a minute in between the recordings, there shouldn't be no problem recording those different sessions. You can individually control the X264 presets, bitrate, and frames per second, and that's per video source. We have a RESTful API service that will allow other third-party companies to control our software stack, and all of that is available on the unit itself to be accessed. You have the option of doing ad hoc recordings or scheduling this out for an entire semester. So we designed this to kind of live as a DVR for your classroom, so you can set it on a schedule and not have to worry about it for the entire semester. Otherwise, if you want faculty or an AV technician to be able to start and stop recordings, or even using our API with, let's say, an AMX Crestron system, you could certainly do that. And then we have multiple publishing points. So those are listed there, some of the publishing providers that we work with. And you can publish to all of those if you have an account with all of them all at the same time. So as I mentioned before, we have on-demand recording with direct publishing points to Google, Kaltura, MediaCore, Vimeo, YouTube, or if you have an FTP or SFTP drop folder that you want to publish to. We also have a terabyte of storage on the unit itself, and we always recommend people, if you're going to be publishing to one of these providers, always save it to local storage, just in case, during publishing, for example, if the network were to drop out, you would still have that as a saved file that you can publish later on. We have automatic multi-source media uploading. We have metadata mapping of categories, tags, media owner ID that will allow it to place in the different publishing providers properly, as well as your LMS. Some of these we have a deeper integration with than others. Kaltura, for example, we've been a tech partner of theirs for about 5 years, and we by far have the deepest integration with their platform, as we have more metadata mapping points that are of value over in their platform. And that includes, if you have a PowerPoint presentation, it will transfer over into Kaltura as chapter points. And we have resumable uploading for busy networks that I kind of touched on earlier. And then also a standard MP4 format for video and a standard JSON format for all metadata. Okay, so we also do live streaming. So we can publish to any RTMP server, and that includes Akamai, Kaltura, Wowza, FMS, Ustream, YouTube Live. or your own RTMP server. We can do a simultaneous recording and a simultaneous live stream at the same time. And with the live stream, it will send over one rich media stream over to the RTMP server. So what we typically see is, if you're doing a recorded session of, let's say, 4 or 5 video sources, the live stream would be that main mixed media file. And again, we can do a live broadcast while concurrently recording HD for on-demand viewing. And this picture is just the back of a unit. These are the various Blackmagic video cards that we currently use. We are looking at a couple of other vendors as an option for just to add variety to the different video cards we support. Some of these are 4-source, 2-source, HDMI, SDI, and we can, again, support HDMI, SDI, composite component, VGA, and DVI with converters. Okay, so let's jump right into our demonstration of the interface. You can see here, this is a browser-based interface, so you don't have to be logged into the unit itself with a keyboard and mouse every time you want to access the unit. It's an HTML5 interface that can be accessed on basically all major browsers. But just to kind of give you an overview of the dashboard here, this gives you an idea of what's actually going on with the unit. So as we can see here, the system's idle. So if you're wanting to allow people to do ad hoc recordings, this is super valuable. It gives you a snapshot of the latest captures and any kind of upcoming scheduled captures. And then also just some basic network information as well as unit information. So I can see here that I have about 32% of the storage of the unit that has been used. So that's super helpful in knowing how much room you have left on your hard drive. And then throughout the entire interface, you'll see these little question marks. And basically, this is just giving you information on what these features do and how they're useful. But to start a capture, we drive all of our captures by templates, and I'll show you those momentarily. But to start a capture manually, you would just give it a quick title and select the template that you want to use, and that basically decides where this is going to publish to and which sources it's going to capture. And you would just click Start Capture. And let's just do a little quick test here. I'm going to click, let's do Kaltura Multisource, Start Capture. And as you can see, it's beginning the capture. And once it starts, you can actually get a live preview of what is being captured, just to ensure that the sources that you've specified are plugged in. And let's just click on live preview here so you can kind of see that. So you can see that I'm capturing from 4 different sources, and audio is capturing as it should, so all is well. And once you click stop, once you click stop and you've specified where it's supposed to publish in the template, it will let you know that, hey, it's published to storage successfully. And this was a Kaltura template, so whenever it's published to Kaltura, it will notify me of that as well. Let's jump right over to templates. So again, we drive all of our recordings by smart templates. And these can be easily duplicated, so if you have various professors that will all be capturing from the same sources, publishing to the same platform but with slightly different credentials, you can duplicate everything else and just tweak the little minute changes, such as their own category for the platform. But you would just give your template a title and a quick description of where this is going and how many sources it's capturing. Here's where you would specify the different video devices that you're going to be capturing from. So as you can see, we do support up to 1080p at 30 frames per second. But usually these would be named like teacher camera, document camera, digital microscope, etc. We see our hardware units used largely in medical schools and dental schools where high fidelity and high quality are of the utmost importance. you would specify your audio device. So we do support embedded audio in all of our video capture cards, as well as our audio cards. We have a dedicated Julius XTE audio card that supports both balanced and unbalanced audio. You would just specify that here. And then on output is where you will control the target bit rate, as well as frames per second and other encoding settings and the resolution. Next, we move over to our media canvas. So this is actually a one-source video, but if you had a multi-source video, you could you would see 2, 3, and 4 sources up here. But within the media canvas, this is where you drive what the playback experience is going to look like on that main MUXed file. So you can resize these. You can add an image. So for branding purposes of your school, you can put that wherever you want it to be and resize that as you deem appropriate. And here's where you will also specify the frames per second and bit rate for that main mixed media file. And just cancel out of there. So enrichment is where you will decide if you want OCR or scene change detection. So if you have a PowerPoint slide, this is very, very useful. What we basically do is take an image of the PowerPoint, each PowerPoint slide, and you'll estimate in the scene change detector at what rate the PowerPoint presentation slides will be changing. And so we basically take an image and read the text off of that. And that will transfer over into, let's say, Kaltura as searchable metadata and chapter points. All of that is editable as well. So if you see that the OCR maybe made a mistake in one of the images, like if you had a graph with some algebraic equations on there, you can certainly edit that from this interface. And here's where you'll specify, okay, where you want this recording to go to. So here I've only specified storage, but ideally, you can have all of these specified, and you would just need to have the appropriate credentials for each of these providers. But just so you can see, with each provider, we've put in the appropriate credentials that would be needed for each of those. So for Kaltura, we have the URL, the admin user ID, the partner ID, the secret, and the media owner ID. And here under categories is where all of the different courses or categories would be found. All right, so staying in templates here, this is where you would duplicate the template, and it would basically duplicate everything that was in that template, and you can edit the little minute differences between each one, just so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time you create a template. The Manage feature is where you can get a snapshot of all of the recordings on this unit. So again, we have 1 terabyte of storage on here, and depending on how many sources you're recording from, how long the lectures are, and at what resolution, will really determine how many recordings can be on the actual unit. But you should be able to capture at least a semester's worth of recordings on here before you would need to download those to a USB, and you can download all of the recordings. So just looking at this, let's just take a look at this capture that we did earlier. So this is where you would get a preview of what was recorded. Okay. You can edit the metadata. So if I had OCR and scene change, let's see if this one had that. Yeah, so this had OCR and scene change. This is where you would edit that in case it was just a little bit off. Let's see. Cancel out of that. This is where you can choose to republish. So if you're wanting this to go, to a different platform, you could certainly do that. Here's where you would download, the different video files that were recorded. So the main media is going to be, this main MUXed file that you see here. Or you could just download specific video recordings if that is what you would like to do, or you could just download all. You can delete them, and you can also visualize them. And this goes back to the customer enablement that I was referring to at the beginning of our session here. So the visualizer shows you all of the plugins that are associated with this particular recording. And if there were a failure or if it failed to authenticate on some end, it will actually notify you of that, and it will show you the relationship to all of the different plugins within this recorded session. You can download the logs for that, and this is super helpful for anybody that has somebody that's tech savvy that wants to diagnose issues. Otherwise, we do have free online ticketing support, and this is what we actually use to diagnose an issue. Let's see. Okay, in the Analyze Media, this is where you will also analyze individual video sources. It gives you all of the information for that as well. And then lastly, the download logs. This is where you would download the logs for the recording. Okay, so we do have searching capabilities within our media, my little media tab here. So you can search by speaker, you can search by just the title, and also specify the date that you would like to filter down to. All right, so moving right along, this is our scheduler. So we can import an existing calendar that you have as long as it's an iCal format. So all of your calendar dates will transfer over into our calendar here, and then you can just associate templates with each of those calendar happenings. Otherwise, you can schedule schedule it manually from here, and you would just give the scheduled capture a title. So if it was Math 101, you would specify your template, and then the capture date. So if it's a single capture date, if this is going to be used for a special event or in just a live event venue, you would just determine the date that you wanted it to automatically start, the time that you wanted it to start. Otherwise, if this is going to be in, say, a lecture hall, you can specify, again, Math 101. It's going to be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class from, let's say, 8 o'clock in the morning and it's going to be 50 minutes long. You would just specify that here. And you can have it start at the beginning of the semester and end at the end of the semester. And you would specify a presenter, if that's what you would like to do, that will give some interesting information, their name, their credentials, email, if they have a blog, and also a brief bio. You can also upload an image. And then if you want an asset, such as a PowerPoint presentation, to be uploaded automatically with this recorded session, you can add that here. And then here's where you'll also add in tags and determine if you want all of these to be enabled as well. Okay. And so here's where you'll also see any kind of scheduled captures. So with this being a demo unit, we try to keep it as clean as possible, but if there were any scheduled captures, you would see it populate on this calendar here. The devices section is where you will manage your devices. So you can see all of these capture cards are at 1080p resolution or 1080i, one of the two. And what we typically recommend is you rename each of these video devices that are the video cards that they'll be capturing from. So if it's a digital microscope, a document camera, a PC, and a digital whiteboard, you could enter all of those names in here accordingly. And then here's where you can specify the different embedded audio that you'll want to be recording from. Again, name those as appropriate. Otherwise, if you have a microphone, we do have a Julius audio card that you can use as well. The settings section is, there's various admin user features within here. One thing I will show you is notifications. So if you have a Twitter handle that you use for, AV purposes, or if you just want to create one for the specific use case that I'm about to show you, you can link this to your Twitter handle, and our unit will actually chatter with that Twitter handle based upon any of these notifications that you enable. So if you don't want to know if anything's happening unless something fails, then you would just uncheck all of these and it would only notify you if a capture failed to stop, a capture failed, or if there was a publish failure, and it'll communicate with you on that. The storage is where you can enable purging at the end of the semester if that's what you would like to do. Account management is where you will authorize specific accounts that you'll be publishing to. This information here is for our learning engine, which is our own media platform. And so you would just enter in any kind of API token that would be needed. And you can also give faculty access to the unit. So if you wanted to, if all of your faculty are going to be using this on an ad hoc basis, or if you're, a live event company where you want your presenters to be able to log into the unit, you can give them a username, a generic password, and give them a specific role. And this will basically restrict the different actions that they can perform on the unit. And all of these are spelled out within our support page. And, it'll only allow them to, for example, start a recording, stop a recording, etc. Lastly, our command center here gives you the ability to link over to other units that are on your network. Just by simply clicking on here. You can see both of these are actually off right now, but if they were on, it would be green. This is actually being enhanced largely. I'll show you kind of a screenshot of what you'll be able to do in just a moment, but for now, you can actually link over to any of the units that are on your network, all from the same interface here. And just to go right across the rest of this little taskbar, you can see that the system is currently idle, and here's where you can actually link over to our support docs for the hardware. We've got some really great online video tutorials that, again, show you how to open the unit, change out capture cards, etc. And all of that is found here. The last thing I'll show you on this unit is how to access our API docs. So again, we have a RESTful API service, and if you have a Crestron touchpad, for example, or if you have AMX on site, you can access our API documentation here, and this will tell you all of the different controls and functions that you can perform using our API. So starting captures, stopping, getting templates, publishing, etc. Okay, so that about covers all of the different functions within the CaptureCast Pro. So I'm just going to jump right back into my presentation. So this is the command center that we've created the UI for. We're just doing some back-end tying up. So this is one of our roadmap features that's coming out. And as you can see, I've got a number of different units connected on the network. So if you want to keep them as IP addresses, you can. Otherwise, you can, rename your units as, lecture hall, 101, etc. But this allows you to schedule recordings, move things around. You can see past recordings that are currently in session. So it just allows you to more easily manage all of the units within your campus. So there's a few to-dos that I recommend you do. So contact us for a free trial. We do 60-day trials. We do have some summer promotional pricing going on through the end of June, I believe. And this basically gets you a heavily discounted, almost a reseller pricing for the appliances through the end of the summer. So if you're wanting to get a free trial on campus and then purchase by the end of the summer, now is the time to do that. We typically allot about 4 weeks of building and testing your unit in the true environment that it will be in on your site. So again, I highly recommend you reaching out to me just as soon as possible. We have a few demo units available right now. So we could probably even drive down the time that it would take to build and test your unit. Also, email me if you need another demo or if you're wanting, any kind of quoting. I'll be more than happy to get that for you. Otherwise, that concludes our presentation. I appreciate you taking the time out for me today. Let's see if we have any questions. It doesn't appear that we do, but if you have any questions, email me at emily@katuravideo.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Otherwise, if you would like a copy of this recording, just reach out to me again at the email address you see there, and I'll be happy to get it to you. Also, follow us on Twitter and also add us to Google+. So we are constantly enhancing our products, and I want you to be able to take advantage of all of our updates just as soon as we have them. So follow us on Twitter and also Google+. Have a wonderful day.